much for joining us here on our Mongoose User Chat and our Mongoose User Group webinar. So today we are going to go back to basics. Back to basics, we're going to kick it off with Mongoose Chat today. That is our webinar for today. Next time will be about AI. Previous one was about Conversation Intelligence Hub. So if you're coming in, we're going back to basics, but I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to come away with some really nice stuff. Couple notes before we go ahead and get started. There is a Q&A that you guys can go ahead and jump into, ask questions. I've got Jake, who's over in product marketing. He's going to be helping me out in the Q&A section and in chat as well. If there's any questions, fire them off. We got you. We'll be sure to try to answer those as much as we can. And to kind of kick it off, I'm Dylan. I'm the new director of customer marketing. I'll be here moderating. I've been here a whole maybe 2 months now. So really excited to be here. But I wanted to introduce Mary Pezzimenti. Mary is a CSM and a fantastic person to go ahead and kick this off. Mary, thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate you.
Thanks, Dylan. Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'm Mary Pezzimenti. Like Dylan said, I'm a client success manager here at Mongoose and have been with Mongoose for just about a year now. Previously, I was in higher education. I worked in career services for about 5 years before joining the team here.
Awesome. Good stuff. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Mary, you're on.
Awesome. So today we are going to dive into all things chat. We're going to do a high-level overview of all the basic functions of Mongoose Chat. So I will go ahead and jump into my account, Dylan, if you don't mind me switching over to share my screen. Perfect. So some things that we're going to cover today, we're going to go through lead capture and reaching out to the individuals who have left their contact information to be followed up with. You also have the ability to live chat with individuals if you are available, and you can continue on that conversation. And then I'll talk a little bit about the chat to text functionality. So if you are a chat and text client of Mongoose, you'll be able to seamlessly interact between the two. And then dive into some follow-up engagement strategies for you all if you are collecting website visitors' contact information and just being able to follow up with them after the fact. So, as you all know, this is Mongoose as we love it and know it with our refreshed dashboard that was talked about last week. But for today, we're going to focus on the chat tab. So this is Mongoose Chat. You can see that I was having a conversation with our chat bot. The beginning part here is me having a conversation with our AI assistant, so answering some of those basic questions, but then you can see that I get to the point where I'm like, I have further questions that are more specific to my situation, so I want to talk to a human. If somebody was available to live chat, it would then loop me into that live chat conversation here. But because someone wasn't available to live chat, it prompted me to leave my contact information. So it asked me my first name, last name, email address, mobile number, and then that lovely consent question that we all like to see. So we're making sure that we're collecting that consent from the individual. So if they are leaving their mobile number, that we do have the ability to text them to follow back up. So we can see that I had specific questions about the business program, and then it asked me my preferred contact method. You'll see at the top here, it will give you my name and then the location. There's also this visitor pop-out details where we can see, again, my name that was left in the chat, the location, which is based off of the IP address of the individual website visitor. So sometimes if people are using a VPN, it might be off a little bit, but generally it's accurate. And then my phone number, my email address that I left, and then the consent to text piece. Something else with chat is you can view the page in which somebody looped into the chat widget, which is always really helpful because that gives you a little bit more of an idea of where their questions may have started, so you can see that information. You'll notice at the top up here, there was that edit button. So if you notice that the person misspelled their name, or maybe there was an error with the information that they provided, this is all editable. So if you wanted to go in and edit that information at any point, you can edit that. From this screen, you can see that I had requested to be followed up with via chat, or via text, which is great, so that I can just go ahead and click here, click send text, select which inbox I would like it to come from, and then what we recommend for all of our chat clients is to have a chat to text template. So it makes it very clear of who is reaching out to the person and why you're reaching out to them. So you'll see it has hi first name, letting them know who is texting them, where they're texting them from, and that they were chatting with your chatbot on your website. And then we'll see where we would then just go and insert the question. So I saw you had questions about the business program. You can even add like, what specific questions do you have? And then from here, you can track it as a campaign, so you can keep track of all of your chat to text conversations, and you can see, okay, who's responding to them, what's the reply rate of those messages. And as with normal texting conversations, you then get that preview, seeing, okay, it filled in with Mary here and here, so it looks like we're good to go, and you can send that right away. Now that the follow-up is all completed, I can go ahead and check the box to complete that follow-up. You can see that there are all these other conversations that are being had within the platform. So let me just refresh my screen, and the follow-ups now are empty. But you can see that there are other individuals that are having conversations with the chatbot that might not have gotten to where they needed to follow up with someone, but Morgan here got in contact with Morgan to follow up with them. But you can continue through and see what those conversations are if you ever wanted to go back and view those conversations at a later time, you could. With live chat, all you have to do is check that you're available, and then when a website visitor comes and decides that they want to talk to a human, it would loop you in to live chat with that individual, and it would then fall under My Conversations, where you can then follow, or you can continue on that conversation right within this screen with that individual website visitor. I had mentioned the chat to text templates. We also have chat templates that you can use. So if there is information that you are finding yourself using over and over again, you can create a template. You can also create a chat template for you to give yourself some time when you get looped into a live chat. So it could be something along the lines of, hi, this is Mary from the admissions office at MSU. Please give me a second to catch up on your conversation. I will be with you shortly. So then when you are looped into a live chat, it gives you that initial time to continue on to read through the conversation so that you can catch up on what they were having a conversation with for the AI assistant, and then you can best answer their questions that way. One of the other things that's great with chat is you can assign it to other users. So if you get assigned a conversation and you're like, that really shouldn't be going to me, it's in someone else's territory, you can assign a conversation to somebody else. So for example, if I know this conversation needs to go to Mike. I can leave Mike a note and say, hey, Mary has a lot of questions. It looks like she is one of your students. I'm going to go ahead and assign it to you. And then it would be assigned to Mike, and he would then be notified of that. I had mentioned pulling that lead capture information. The other thing that you can do is if you have admin access to chat, you can see the chat analytics and see the total number of conversations that are had, as well as when most people are likely to loop into the chat and when you should be more likely to have individual people available to live chat. So you can see that information right on the chat analytics page. We also have exports where we can export out the chat information. So you can export out the leads that have been captured from chat, and you can select it to be automated. So each morning you could receive an export of that information of who left their contact information and all of that stuff. And then you would get an email sent to you with a download of all of the information, the name, email address, phone number, if they left their consent to text with that timestamp, their IP address, and then if there was any conversation history with the bot, that would be included there as well as any of the team-specific fields. And then from there, you could create a segment of those individuals and maybe once a month, every 2 weeks or so, send those contacts a text and say, hey, we saw you interacted with our chat bot. Would love to share some additional information with you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, so that you are collecting that information and then are doing something with it, and you're not just having that information and not using it in any way. You can also then take that information and import it into your CRM so that they are created as contacts in your records. That was a lot of chat information all at once. Dylan, is there anything that you think that I'm missing for all of the chat features that we want to dive in?
I don't really think so. I think that really kind of was super comprehensive. If anybody has any questions, please put them in the Q&A in your webinar panel, and we can definitely answer those during the Q&A portion. So yeah, I think that was, yeah, comprehensive.
The other thing that I did want to call out on the dashboard is if you ever want to get in contact with your client success manager for your particular that's assigned to you particularly, on the dashboard there is this schedule a call button that you can click on, and it will take you to meet with your client success manager and give you access to their calendar. So if you have any additional questions about chat, if you want to do a more in-depth chat training, if you have chat, if you don't have chat and you want to explore that a little bit further, you can definitely use that link as well. I will turn it back to you, Dylan.
Perfect. And yeah, just wanted to recall out that that book time with your CSM. I mean, an invaluable resource for training, for questions, whatever you have. 100% we are here for you. I just wanted to throw in a little tiny plug now, folks. Either get out your phones and hit that QR code, or go ahead and check the chat. This is important. So before we move forward, I did want to spotlight a brand new resource that we think we are going to actually find very, very valuable: the benchmark reports for 2-year and 4-year institutions. These reports are literally based off of millions, and yes, that's millions of conversations collected from 600 institutions across the country. So we didn't like survey people about what works. We actually analyzed legitimate engagement data, when students reply, what messaging formats do people respond to, where communication can break down. So inside the reports, you're going to find things like the exact days and times of when students are most likely to reply, and more importantly, when it's a waste of time to actually hit send. Why messages that are like short and simple and sweet massively outperform longer, complex ones. Smart messages can boost reply rates, things like that. So all of this is broken down in each of these reports, so you can either download them on your phone or you can hit those links that are in the chat. But whether you're focused on admissions, student success, relations, whatever, it's stuff that you can take back and start actioning immediately to drive stronger results for sure. It's ungated. You don't even have to put in your email or anything like that. You can just straight up download it right now. Take a look. I promise even 1 or 2 takeaways can really make a difference. I did want to throw up before we start in the Q&A portion, I did want to see if anybody is actually interested in chat. So that doesn't have it or is interested in learning more about chat or wants to just straight up talk to somebody about chat. So if you guys could fill out my poll really quickly, I'd appreciate it. And whether that's yes, please, maybe later, no, thank you. Let us know. We'll give everybody just a little bit of time to go ahead and answer that, and then I will close that down. All right. Anybody else? Hit that poll button. Yes, maybe later, no, thank you. You hit no, thank you. It's okay. Yeah. Cool. I'll go ahead and close that down. Thanks so much for the poll. I appreciate it. And I'm super stoked to go ahead and jump into the Q&A. I don't really see a ton of Q&A coming in. If there's any questions here, let us know. We got you. But in the meantime, while Q&A starts flowing in, the next one of these, the next Mongoose User Group is going to be June 5th. We're going to be talking about something very, very important to everybody's jobs, which is our AI features, right? So at the heart of Mongoose, right, it's now powered by AI-driven features that are really designed to kind of boost efficiency, engagement, and personalization. So as you heard about chat, there's also like AI-assisted texting. People can use smart replies, message scoring, predictive engagement to kind of really follow up with people. Plus, using that combined with the reports that I shared, very, very, very powerful stuff. And obviously using a lot of these features can help increase engagement and improve enrollment yield and help you guys to operate a little bit more efficiently. So obviously our mission kind of for you guys remains clear. We help you guys have the right conversations with the right people at the right time. And AI is just kind of making that a little bit more possible than ever. So gonna still open it up for questions if there's anything in there.
I see
Yep,
there
we
is
did
one in the
put
chat.
it in chat. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
Yep, for a couple of nights.
What we
Yeah.
got?
Anel had a question if there is a way to reorder fields instead of having to delete and read. By fields, are you meaning in the chat like the information, so first name, last name, phone number, that information? Just so I can clarify and make sure I'm understanding that question correctly.
And while you write back in chat for us, Anne had a question about the data about when it's best and not best to send a text to students again. That is in the reports that are back on this page, or they're just scroll up in the chat, and the pages to download the report are there. Once again, ungated, totally free content, giving it away.
So it looks like Anel's question was yes, and other fields that are being imported from the CRM. So if you're talking about the texting, importing the texting contacts, you can't change the order of the first name, last name, mobile number, contact ID. However, you can change the order of those custom fields that you're bringing in, which also brings up a good point that's chat focused. When I was pulling out that details panel, if there is any other information that you and your team feel like would be helpful to capture, such as student ID or date of birth, we've heard from a number of admissions partners that date of birth is something that they need to capture from their prospective students in order to create them in their CRM. We can add that in, and then that would pull up on the details panel as well as the first name, last name.
I just wanted to highlight one more question, Mary, that came up in the chat while you were talking. This one comes in from Janet, and she said, is there any way to filter by assigned to me on the mobile app? Their school has team inboxes, and it would be helpful to have the filter feature on the mobile app.
Yeah, so on the mobile app, I don't believe you are able to do that. However, if you open Mongoose in a browser on your mobile phone, you would be able to utilize all of those features. I do know it is on our product team's list of things to make some updates to the app, though, so we can definitely share that feedback with the team as well. And that is for the shared inbox with texting.
Got it. Thanks, Mary.
Any other questions?
Somebody raised their hand. Ellie, I don't think that I can literally I don't know how I can let you talk. Can you type in, please? Type in the Q&A or in the chat, please. I'm sorry.
And now your question, the fields that are being used in this segment can't be deleted unless it's removed. So if you're talking about editing a segment, you could edit a segment if you were the owner of a segment. But if you aren't the owner, then you can't.
You missed the last meeting and would like to get an email? Yes, I can send that to you. I'm going to capture that. Okay, perfect. Yes, I will send that over to you personally. 100%. You missed the last one and wanted to get a recording of that. Yes. That was a very important one on, you would like to view the last two? Yep, I gotcha. It was on basically what the new dashboard is fully and and navigating that for sure. Absolutely. Yep, you sure can. Yep. Yeah, everybody jump. Okay. Keep going. Yeah, I'll be happy to send these to you guys. 100%.
Yeah, so that's a great point. All of these are recorded, so if you ever miss any of them or want to go back and watch some of the old ones, you can absolutely do that with the recording.
Yes, absolutely. Not a problem. Probably what I will do is I will send the email. I'll either send the email to myself and then I will forward it to you all. Or I will find out a way to send it to you out of our marketing automation tool. Yes, I will figure it out. The video will be in, Jake, how do we process those? First time here.
Yeah, so this will be in the follow-up email. So we will be posting this to YouTube, and we'll also be posting an embedded link within the email that you'll be able to access. So no worries on that. We'll definitely be having that over to everybody that's on this call, as well as anybody that wasn't able to make the call.
Yep. So once you're signed up for this, you will receive all of the recording. So even if you can't make it to one, you'll still receive the recording in your inbox.
For sure.
Mary, I do have one question regarding chat that I think would be interesting for the crowd here. Is there any specific feature that we didn't cover on this call for chat that you think most of our users would get the most out of? Because like where my head always goes on these is the chat to text feature. And I think that's one of the coolest, one of the best and most useful ones. But is there anything more underlying that we should be aware of that maybe it's not used on day to day, but a lot of these folks would get a lot of value out of?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you are live chatting with individuals, if you are familiar with any of our other AI features within the platform, we do have an AI feature within chat. So Dylan, do you mind me taking over and sharing my screen again real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So if you are live chatting with an individual, you'll see this little sparkly icon will be here that you can click on, and it will give you an AI suggested reply to continue that conversation with that individual website visitor. So that's when you're live chatting with individuals. That's super helpful. Again, if you don't want to create a template, just to let people know that you're taking a minute to catch up on their chat transcript, but you can just quickly click into there and it will give you a response to send back to them, and then you can insert it and modify it however you want. But that's one of, I feel like, the most underutilized features within chat that we do have available. Yeah, so great call out there.
Yeah, thanks, man.
No, how is that powered? Is that powered by ChatGPT? The AI.
Yeah, so that is, we have the power of ChatGPT, but we do it through a secure way on the back end through our partners with Azure. So we don't have like an open model that is being used to train data for security purposes. So nobody has to be worried on this call that any of their conversations or data is being used in any of those ways. So we use that in our own secure environment, but ultimately it is driven by the same technology.
Got it. So if you're using ChatGPT on the desktop, that is shared out with it learns. But if you're using ours, it's secured by Azure and nothing private is shared out.
That's absolutely correct.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool.
And it takes into account your previous conversation history. So it'll adapt based off of what information the website visitor was asking the bot about as well.
Nice.
And I just wanted to highlight, we have complete parity. So exactly what you saw on the chat side. I know that a lot of you folks in here are going to be text users as well. So you'll be seeing those exact AI features. Just as a reminder, you'll see that on the text side, and you'll also be able to see that to help you generate new templates. So you'll be able to respond to messages, you'll be able to create new templates, and you'll be able to do the same within the chat side as well.
Anywhere you see the little AI icon, you can
Little
click.
sparkly AI stars icon. Yep.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about it. We're really at time. I think we used up that one really well. So thanks so much, folks, for joining us all. We really appreciate it. Next month is going to be, once again, AI. We'll be covering that in detail and everything that you guys can use about that to save time, help efficiencies, things like that. Big thanks to Mary and Jake for jumping on. Really appreciate you all helping me out. So thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much, folks.